This is the Nagasawa Pen Store's special edition GearSke Black. The gear part of GearSke stands for Pro Gear. The ske part stands for skeleton, which is their word for a demonstrator. It's called a GearSke Black because all of the trim, along with the nib and even the metal part of the converter, is ruthenium coated. The finial has their signature ink bottle on it, and the 21 karat nib has the Nagasawa insignia on it. I got this when I was in Osaka for the Osaka Pen Show, which is officially called the Naniwa Pen Show and put on by Tono and Limbs. I had never been to a pen show in Japan outside of Tokyo, so when CY of Tokyo Station Pens and Tokyo Inklings asked if I wanted to go, I thought that would be cool. It's a relatively short bullet train ride from Tokyo, and here's my QR ticket. I thought that was pretty futuristic until CY showed me he had it on his phone. Here's rice fields zipping by on the bullet train. I'll be giving away a few of the items I got there at the end of the video. When we arrived at the pen show, there was a several-hour wait, so we decided in the meantime to go to the Nagasawa Pen Store. Though Nagasawa is based out of Kobe and that's where their main store is, this one in Osaka is their biggest store. Many of you know Nagasawa from their Monogatari line of inks with this iconic kind of flat bottle. And of course, they just had a boatload of them. They of course had an impressive array of fountain pens and inks and paper, to include Mont Blanc, Pelican, and the Japanese really liked their Western pens. Pilot with its extensive collection of capless, and Sailor, and this is the store that I got my GearSke Black that I showed at the beginning of the video. And here CY is doing CY stuff in their journal and paper testing room. Here I amazingly found journals of the old original Tomoe River paper. I had gotten 2, but now I wish I had gotten a lot more. They also have these thin notebooks with pictures of their Monogatari ink with ink swatches. I'll be giving one of these away at the end of the video. The paper is made by the ever-popular Grafilo. CY talked me into a couple of inks. I'm going to blame him. And this one's called Unknown. It's made by Eric and Mart, and I believe it's a iron gall kind of ink. I'll be testing it out later. What's supposed to be special about it is that it kind of changes and dries to a different color depending on the paper. And of course, I didn't stop at one bottle. I got Ferris wheel presses, green with curiosity. It's a teeny tiny bottle. A brand I had associated with sealing wax and maybe some calligraphy, Bortoletti, had these beautiful ink bottles. They were heavyweight and filled with kind of a neutral blackish gray ink with these beautiful tops. I inked up my GearSke with it, and it's a slightly dry ink but a really interesting dark color. Bortoletti sells seals, dip pens, glass pens, and other calligraphy items, and really beautiful desktop items. Check out their website, though their shipping fees are pretty hefty if you're not from Europe. So people in the US can check out, I think, Papier Plume, which is in New Orleans. Bortoletti doesn't even ship to Tokyo, so Nagasawa is my only option. The staff was knowledgeable and friendly. This is Mr. Urakawa, the director. Here he's showing us this new pen they got in where you click down on this button and the smooth barrel would turn into like this little pleated thing. And then you click it back up and it goes smooth again. It kind of reminds me of one of those Issey Miyake Bao bags. If you're in the Osaka area, this store is definitely a must-see. And speaking of must-see, CY will be at Yoseka Stationery Store in Brooklyn this weekend, and then next weekend he'll be at the San Francisco Pen Show. So if you're in those areas, drop by and give him some love and tell him that Inky Stinky sent you. The pen show was held at the Osaka City Central Public Hall in the Naniwa area, hence the name Naniwa Pen Show. It was held in this neoclassical looking building, and it was absolutely gorgeous. The whole section was green, had a lot of walking and open spaces. It was a beautiful section of northern Osaka. It turned out this building was an iconic Osaka landmark. Sutta Design, which mainly makes journals, ended up making a graphic design of this beautiful building and putting it on the side of bags, cards, and stationery. And the inside of the building was just as beautiful as the outside. It was kind of odd being at a Japanese pen show in this really beautiful Western building. Also from Sutta, I picked up a set of cards with Tokyo landmarks. This one is of Tokyo Station. Shachihata was there, and I added to my collection of their mixed colored stamp pads. These stamp pads have more than one color in a kind of random arrangement like this, so when you use the stamp it comes out with different colors. I like that they're made and packaged like the traditional Japanese Honke pad. As for a pen, I picked up this Pilot 2014 Wagner Special Edition Hidari Uma, or left-facing horse pen. Now that's a mouthful. It kind of looks like a Pilot Custom Heritage 912, but with a ball clip. I liked it for the special nib and also because it's a brown pen, which I don't have a whole lot of. And on the nib is 2014 in Wagner and the kanji character for horse, but it's flipped over as if you were looking in a mirror. That's why it's a left-facing horse. Very high cool factor. From Shokido, I picked up these fountain pen ink box openers, and I'll link to a video short I did about them. Deep Aqua regularly shows up at the Wagner pen shows here in Tokyo, and I was surprised to find her in Osaka. She makes all kinds of interesting fountain pen related things, and she regularly makes these blotting papers that look like the fountain pen boxes from Tono and Limbs. She added a couple of new designs of her blotting papers. Here's one with ink spilled with a fountain pen, and one of these flowers. All of her blotting papers work very well, and it's really cool to have different kinds of designs instead of the same old blotting paper. She collaborated with Shokido, which is the guy that makes the fountain pen ink box openers, and also he makes different kinds of laser engraved boxes for different kinds of ink bottles. This box is really cute. It has a picture of a cat with some cat paw prints, and it's made to hold Micro 5 refill papers. Micro 5 is a very, very small notebook, and many companies are now making specialized papers to go inside of these little tiny notebooks. This is my Micro 5 notebook, and it's called Micro 5 or Mini 5 because it has 5 rings in it, and it's a very small notebook. Here's one of the papers that Deep Aqua makes, and it's B7 Toronex paper. Here's Galaxy paper that Kamiterior makes. And this size has become popular lately because people are trying different kinds of paper, and you can try different kinds of paper without a really big outlay of money. And little cat vellum paper that you can write with on a fountain pen that Kamiterior also makes. You start collecting so many different kinds of paper that she made this little storage box for them. Here I'm putting some of my Kamiterior refills in there, and some of Deep Aqua's refills. The back side has a hole so you can push the paper out, and it also has a picture of an ink bottle. I'll be giving this away at the end of the video. The most interesting thing to come out of the Osaka Pen Show is this pen pad. It's made out of leather and it's very well padded, and I purposely chose a dark color. And here on the back side it's kind of suede-y. That's my word for suede-like. It's a new thing, suede-y. I need sleep. It's a kind of pen rest or pen pad all built in together. I felt like it would be especially useful for glass pens. It also comes with this kind of extra piece of covered leather, so that if you would rather balance your pens in some other kind of fashion, you can. And I experimented with it to make sure I could plop down a glass pen pretty quickly without damaging the pen. When you use a glass pen rest, you have to be careful about setting the pen down carefully on it. You have to look up where it's at and then set it down. So let's test it out. Here is my glass pen set up. I basically got a tray with all my glass pens, and I have these 3 spice bottles pre-filled with water, so I can just pop one open pretty quickly. And when I test out ink, I just kind of want to pull out my glass pen, check out the ink, maybe rinse it off, and do it very quickly. But again, when you're using a glass pen, you have to be very careful and precise about setting it down on the pen rest while it's got ink on the nib. Well, I want to be able to just take that inked up glass pen and just plop it on that landing pad right there. And that's why I chose a dark color. I want to be able to have ink spill on there or whatever and not worry about it. I know this is going to make some of you cringe, but let's check it out. I set up everything in view of the camera, and I'm going to try out that unknown ink on some Tomoe River. It's an old Hobonichi. This takes absolutely no setup. I'm just pulling stuff right off my desk, opening the ink, and then checking it out. I'd like to be able to use it very quickly. To start, this unknown ink is a very light blue, and like all iron gall inks, it's going to darken. Most of them darken down to almost black gray, sometimes with a little bit of sepia in it, but almost all iron gall will darken. And even as you're watching this, you can see that the ink is starting to darken. I'm doing a quick rinse off with the water so I can get any of the older ink off the nib, and then when I show it and compare it with some fresh ink, we can see the difference in the color. And see how I just plop down the pen? I love doing that, not having to think about it. And here you can see it's definitely darkened up, and now we're going to just put a couple swipes of fresh ink, and you can see the difference between the fresh ink and the darkened ink. I'm thinking that this glass pen landing pad is going to work out really well for me, and I'm not going to get hyper about getting ink on it. From what I understand, this ink will dry on different shades of blue and purple depending on the paper you use. Here's the ink about a half an hour after it dried, and it looks like it kind of turned a purpley kind of dark color. After the show, CY had made going to Osaka a day trip, so he went back to Tokyo. And my husband came down with me to Osaka so we could just kind of like check out all the cool stuff. And there's a lot of really interesting architecture in Osaka. I'm not sure what that green guy is, but he was kind of cool looking. I guess it was a little bit of a water sculpture since he was sitting in water and kind of spitting water out. Japan does have really interesting architecture, and this is a building that was near our hotel. And as I'm panning up, this is looking up through the building. It's got 2 sides, one on the left and one on the right, and this strange cutout bridge feature across the top. We ended up checking out the area near the Pen Show and ended up at Honke Shibato, which is a 300-year-old unagi or eel restaurant. It was on its 15th generation of running the restaurant. So the giveaway is this Nagasawa Graphilo notebook, and I decided to add this new Platinum Placer Aura. This one is called Symphony Blue. It's a limited edition that has just come out recently. Just go to my Instagram account, follow, and then go to the picture that has the Sailor Nagasawa GearSke pen in it. Write any comment on that post and you'll be automatically entered for the giveaway. And the second giveaway, same rules. It'll be this Micro 5 refill book, along with 2 refill packs from Deep Aqua, and just a little plastic Micro 5 notebook in case you don't have one. So stick a comment under the post and you'll be eligible for both these giveaways. The original winner of the Hanabi glass pen never contacted me, so the new winner is Jenny in the Wood. Please contact me on Instagram messages.